made you want to take the job at the United States Radium Corporation?
It was 1917. Two of my brothers had just gone off to France.
How was the work?
The work was interesting, social and fun, and with a far higher wage than the usual factory job.
So the pay was good?
Yes, sir. We girls could take home 2 to 3 times as much as workers in other factories.
And you were paid for each watch dial you painted?
That's right. I was good at my job, a fast worker. I painted around 250 dials a day.
How much exposure did you have to radium in the paint?
We were instructed to point the brush with our lips.
Did all the girls do it that way?
All I ever saw do it. I could paint about 2 numbers before the brush dried. We weren't given water, leaving us no other option than to moisten the brushes between our lips.
Were you ever told, at any time, not to put the brush to your mouth?
Only once. A factory doctor was passing through when he saw me point the tip with my lips. He told me not to do it.
What else did he say?
He said it would make me sick.
Were you concerned after the doctor's remarks? Did you follow up with anyone?
I went to my supervisor, Miss Rooney. She told me there was nothing to it. She told me it wasn't harmful. Radium had been called the greatest find in history. I had read about the cure-alls in magazines and newspapers, but they were far too expensive for a working-class girl from Newark.
And at the factory?
The radium powder settled like dust all over the studio. It landed on our hair and made us shine. By the end of the day, I was covered in the dust. My hands, arms, neck, dress, underclothes, even my corset was luminous. When I returned home at night, my clothes and face would shine in the dark.
Did that concern you?
No. We just had to be careful, for fear that we would be accused of wasting the expensive material. But when there was extra, we girls would paint it on our cheeks, our teeth, go into the darkroom to spook each other.
So the paint was everywhere?
Yes, sir. We started to be known about town as the Shining Girls. As soon as we received our first pay, we went out to buy the nicest dresses, silk, chiffon. Then we'd wear them to the factory, and when we went out at night to dance, we shone like the watches in the darkroom.
Eventually, you left United States Radium Corporation.
That's right. After the war, I took a job at Fidelity Bank.
Did you keep in touch with the girls from the factory?
Yes, we had become fast friends. That's how I started to hear about their troubles.
Such as?
Marguerite told me she felt tired all the time. Hazel decided to leave the factory on account of feeling so run down. Even after she quit, her weight was dropping so fast, and her jaw ached terribly. My dear friend Molly had so many teeth extractions, and they never healed.
What became of her?
She passed. She was 24 years old. She had had no relief from the pain. The same dentist examined her mouth a few months before, and with a gentle touch of his finger, he broke her jawbone. Poor Molly's jaw was not removed by an operation, but merely by putting his fingers into her mouth and lifting it out.
May she rest in peace.
Perhaps. We were told after her death that she died of syphilis.
And you dispute that?
I, sir, am no doctor. But knowing her character, I find it hard to believe.
Did you ever suspect the radium?
Not at first. The papers ran an article that fall about how some waste from the factories was turned into sand to fill children's playboxes. In the article, a doctor called it the most hygienic sand to play in, more beneficial than the mud of world-renowned curative baths.
But eventually?
Well, I started to have a pain in my back and feet, enough that it made it uncomfortable to walk. I had had a couple of teeth removed in January, but the infection stayed for months. I don't dare do much with my hands for fear of being scratched. The least scratch will not heal because of the radium. I have had my jaw curated 17 times. Pieces of my jawbone and most of my teeth were removed. My spine is decaying, and one bone in my foot is completely destroyed.
You presume the corporation knew the radium was dangerous for some time?
I do. On numerous occasions, we were examined by a company doctor. He always assured me that I was perfectly healthy. Only later did we discover he was a fraud. Not a doctor at all. His degree was in philosophy.
He was hired to mislead you.
That is my understanding. My counsel recently uncovered a report commissioned by USRC years ago. It concluded that there was ample evidence that the only constituent of the luminous material that can do harm must be the radium.
So you are taking the corporation to court?
I was advised to take legal action at once. I realize that I am paying for something that someone else is to blame for. I have no money. I am compelled to constantly attend doctors. I feel very badly. I do not believe in giving up. I feel we girls should not give up hope.